Hello YouTube! Today on the Naughty Librarian we are doing the best and worst series of 2018 book tag. I was tagged by the creator of this tag, Mara at Books Like Whoa, and I'll link the video and her channel down below. Check them out, she's awesome. I read a lot of good books in 2018, so I was really excited to have a tag to do that helps me like kind of wrap up the year a bit, and Mara came up with a really cool one. It was all based on series though, so it was a little difficult sometimes, but I think I pulled it out. Without further ado, let's get into this tag. You know, I was going to memorize the questions and I didn't. I don't have a good excuse, but I wrote them down. So anyway, number 1, what is the best series that you caught up with this year that is still a work in progress? I'm gonna say the Villians series by V.E. Schwab. I read both Vicious and Vengeful this year. This is the sequel. And the way Vengeful ends, the door is very open for a third book. And I do believe V.E. Schwab has said that there will be a third book in the series. Who knows when that will be, but dear Lord, this was amazing. Like, I was always kind of like iffy about V.E. Schwab books because I wasn't wowed by them before. She wasn't maybe the author for me, even though I know she was very popular. But this Villain series, you guys, like, this is like my jam. Like, I found my niche with V.E. Schwab, and it's this series, and it's so good. I'm so excited. I read both of them this year. So good. Number 2, what is the best work in progress series that you are still catching up with? I went with the Renegades series by Marissa Meyer. Renegades, the first book of this series, was actually the first book I read in 2018, and this Arch Enemies is the sequel. Haven't found the time to read it yet. So I am catching up on the series, and I know there will be another book in it. At least one more book in it. It was originally supposed to be a duology, and that didn't happen. They have now made it into more books. So, yeah, I need to get caught up, and I will probably read the next book in the series too. Number 3, what is your favorite first book in a series this year? I went with Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. It is just great. Like, I know like there's a lot of hype around it. It's like, oh, well, maybe it's not, like, it's being hyped up too much. I've heard that recently, but like, it's really good. It has kind of the same magical mystery vibe that I got from like Harry Potter, even though they're very, very different stories. And yeah, it's very unique in its field, and I think that's what makes it so special, because it is all based on West African tradition and mythology and stuff, even though it's not set in West Africa. So yeah, it's basically doing its own thing in a sea of other books that are similar, you know what I mean? So it's very unique, and I think that's what sets it apart from the pack. And I am excited for the next book, Children of Virtue and Vengeance, or Vengeance and Virtue. I forget which order that goes in, but that's the next book. Excited to read it. I really enjoyed this. Number 4, what is a first book in a series you read this year that you think should have just been a standalone, not a series? It's a very complicated question. I went with Contagion by Erin Bowman because I went into this thinking it was a standalone. Fully thinking it was a standalone, and it's not. And I was like, why does this gonna have more books in it? It doesn't need to. It should have been one book. Like, I don't know, it ends in a way, they could have ended it slightly differently and it would have been a standalone, and I would have been happy with that. It's weird that they decided to make it a series, because I don't know if I want to read more books in this series. Yeah, it should have been a one and done. I don't know if it's gonna lend itself to a proper series enough to be fascinating, because this book is horror and it's sci-fi and is legit horrific. Like, this is a scary book, and I don't see how it's not gonna be scary going forward. It's just gonna be more standard sci-fi. If it will be scary, it's gonna be more body horror, but the way it ends so like basic bitch, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be like such a basic bitch story for the next book. I'm like not excited about it. So yeah, I wish this was a one and done. Number 5, what is your most overhyped series of the year? I went with the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I finally got to it this year. I read the whole thing, so that was fun. However, I did not think they were like as good as I thought they were going to be from the hype around them. Like, I thought these were going to be, like, blowing my mind and changing the way I think about books. And realistically, they're, like, all right. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. Like, that's the best way I can describe them. There's nothing about it that really, like, set it apart for me to make it, like, wow, like, I'm amazed. Like, they're good, but they're not amazing. So, yeah, I thought they were going to be better than they were. They were just kind of, like, okay for me. They're pretty good, but they're not great. Number 6. What is a series that you DNFed this year? I DNFed Empress of a Thousand Skies, and this is a series, and I read Empress of a Thousand Skies because the next book was coming out and the author was doing a signing in the area. So I was like, oh, I'll read the first book, and if I like it, I'll go to the signing and get the next book of the series. I didn't like book 1, so I didn't go to that signing. There's, like, not a lot wrong with it. It's fairly average. Like, realistically, I could have finished it. It's just, like, I got to, like, 75% and realized I don't give a fuck how this ends. Like 0 fucks were given. So I was just like, ugh. I just gave up. I'm like, it doesn't bother me that I don't know the ending. So that speaks for itself, and I did not go on with the series. Number 7. What was your favorite series finale of the year? I went with Bright We Burn by Kiersten White. It broke my heart into a million pieces because this is basically like, hey, final tour where we kill off everyone you love. So it hurt a lot of times. All these characters that I've, like, grown with for the past 2 books that I love and I find interesting, just like, let's find ways to kill them off in horrible manners that you weren't expecting. So this one hurt, but equally on par with all the other books of the series. Great finale. It ended kind of exactly how it should end. And it was fun, and it hurt, but it was very good. Best ending I could have thought of. Number 8. What was the biggest cliffhanger you had in a series this year? Holy shit. The end of Gathering of Shadows by V. Schwab. This is the middle book of the Shades of Magic series. The end of this is the gag of all cliffhangers. Oh my gosh. Like, I couldn't even be mad about the fact it was a cliffhanger because it was a good cliffhanger. Hot damn. Like, this is oh my gosh, like the last line of the book, brilliant. It was handled so well that I was like, hot damn, I don't even care you left me hanging. Like, that is a good ending. So yes, as far as cliffhangers go, like, this is the way you do a cliffhanger and not have the, like, reader be mad about not knowing what's gonna happen next. This is like, damn, I want to know what's gonna happen, but you know what? I respect you. Like, it was good. It was a good cliffhanger. Number 9. What is your favorite spin-off series you read this year? So I had to find a way to work Tessa Dare into this book tag because obviously I read a lot of her books this year. But the series I picked was the Castles Ever After series. It is a spin-off of Spindle Cove, and it is amazing. Honestly, you know what? I like it better than Spindle Cove series. I thought it was really good. All of the books in the series follow like a spunky woman who has inherited a castle, and then it's a love story each time, and they're romantic comedies, and they're really funny, and yeah, they're great. I like them. They got castles and dukes and rakes and spunky ladies with sexy results. Like, what more could you want? Number 10. What is your most anticipated book in a series that you read this year that will come out next year? Such long questions. I went with Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. Actually, funny story, I met Mara, the creator of this tag, by being in a buddy read for the Truth Witch series, and Blood Witch is the next book in that series, so I'm excited to read it with Mara next year, and Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany, and Leanna from Leanna's Library. We have been reading all of the Witchlands books. So excited. Oh my gosh. It's about Adwin, hashtag Badwin. I'm in love with this character. I'm so excited. Hot damn. Okay, drink break. It's a lot of questions in this tag. I got more to do. Number 11. What is your most anticipated series to catch up with next year based on what you read in that series this year? So long. Your questions are so long. I went with the Kate Daniels series by Alona Andrews. This series is freaking fun. It is so much fun. I read the first 4 books in 2018. There is 10 books in this series and a bunch of little like spin-offy books in between. And I'm hoping to just read all of them this year because pretty much everything Ilona Andrews writes I am obsessed with because it's urban fantasy, it's fun, it's book candy, it's just, yeah, they're quick little bites and they're sweet and fun and just entertaining. Endlessly entertaining. Love them. So I definitely want to get caught up with Kate Daniels. Number 12. What is your favorite series that you finished this year? I finished off the first arc of the Shatter Me series by Tahara Mafi, and you know what? I liked it. I liked it a lot. When I had finished the series, I did not know there was going to be another series coming along, like another series arc after the first series arc, so I did finish the whole first series arc. But mind you, this series had been done for several years before they decided they were going to do more books. So I'm counting it as a series. I don't know what it was about the book. Like, it does have problems, but I felt like it was interestingly written because some of it's prose, some of it is, it's basically about Juliet who has she's basically insane a little bit, so her writing it's really weird throughout the book. I can't explain it if you haven't read it. There's a lot of sentences like she crosses out in the writing. It's interesting how it's written, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, as far as originality goes, it's not the most original story, but the way that it's written, like, hit me at a visceral level. Like, I really connected with these characters, and I remember reading Shatter Me and just, like ugly crying. Like, I couldn't not ugly cry, and I do believe I was listening to this on audiobook, so I was just like, in my car on the freeway just sobbing while driving. It was not safe practices, but I made it every day to work, so it's okay. It ended up okay. But I really liked the series and I finished it. Number 13. What is your favorite episodic series of the year? I had to squeeze more Tessa Dare into this tag. So I went with the Spindle Cove series by Tessa Dare. This is episodic because each book in it is different characters who are the main characters. It's a separate story. All of the characters kind of all know each other because they all live in the same town, but each book is a different episode. So, like, if you didn't read books before it or after it, it could read as a standalone. I think that's what they mean by episodic. And it's fun. Again, more ranks with House of Gold, more spunky heroines, a dash of feminism. Yeah, they're just fun. Romantic comedies, historical. I love it. I love Tessa Dare so much. This was a fun series. Number 14. What is a series that you finally bailed on after holding on to it for a long time? I'm gonna say the 100 series by Lara Adrian. I don't know why. I've just never finished it. I've read the first 2 books of the series. I have book 3 in my Kindle, and it's short. It's not even a long book, and I never read it. I never read it. And I'm like, am I ever gonna read this book? I don't know. It's hard because, like, books on my Kindle, I don't read a lot, surprisingly, but I need to. Like, I want to finish it, but it's just like, that book's been out for a long time and I haven't read it, and it's not a long book. So it's like, I have low expectations of ever picking it up, but like, I want to, so there's that. The last question, number 15. What is the series that you were most surprised that you liked this year? I went with the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare, mainly because I've been hit and miss with Cassandra Clare for a long time. I feel like her earlier books, especially like Mortal Instruments, which is like her first series, and I've read them all. I did not like them all. I thought like a lot of it was problematic and just not always well written, but I feel like her later books in other series that she's written have gotten very good and very compelling, and I feel like I'm hitting my stride with her writing, so I get why she's so popular. I feel like some of her earlier works are not for me. I'm not the target audience, or we're not gonna mesh. But like Dark Artifices, I picked up Lady Midnight, not expecting much, and then was completely blown away by how freaking good it was. Like, I was shook. Like, I was shook by how good it was, because I hadn't had good luck with Cassandra Clare before, but Dark Artifices, like, changed that around. Like, oh my gosh, so good. I was like shocked how good it was. That was a long book tag. But you know what? We made it. We made it through. We made it through 2018, which was kind of a dumpster fire of a year at a lot of points. And we made it through that tag. Feeling good. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you have any different answers to these questions? If so, let me know down below. Let me know if you've read these books. Did you like them? Did you hate them? I want to know what you thought. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!